Hey, what's up guys? TJ Kosen here, real estate investor out of Dallas, Texas. We buy properties all over the state of Texas, Florida, Georgia. So we're gonna do a video today about BRRRRing. It's a sort of a combination creative financing, creative exit strategy, creative purchase strategy for real estate. The reason I want to do this video is on the YouTube channel, we've shown you guys a couple walkthroughs of BRRRR properties that we have done. So let's break down how the strategy works. First of all, BRRRR. First step is buy, renovate, refinance, rent, and repeat. But first step is buy, and I like to say buy right. Because if you buy wrong, your exit strategy, you can mitigate your risk and mitigate your downside, but your exit strategy gets a lot more confined and locked in. Now you're just working on how to not lose money as opposed to how to make money. And in real estate, we like making money. It's a lot more fun. So buy right. We like going direct to seller, but in slower markets, sometimes it makes more sense to buy off the MLS. So we bought stuff off the MLS before. Bought them a couple years ago. They've had some equity appreciation, did very well with them. So first step is always buy right, because you buy right, then you're good to go, right? You're good to go. That's easy. Renovate. If you're buying distressed property, probate sale, pre-foreclosure, hoarder house, there's always going to be issues. There's always going to be problems with the property. I've never bought a property off of the MLS from a distressed seller that didn't have issues that need to get addressed to get it even rent ready. Let's go through what might be wrong with it. We might have something wrong with the roof, the foundation, drywall, HVAC, shower faucets, toilets, cabinets, paint, cabinets and countertops. If all of that has deferred maintenance, if I don't repair the AC system, and I can get away with selling the property retail to an end buyer because the AC system is kind of cranking along, kind of working, kind of going for it, then maybe I'm not in a bad position. Maybe, I'm good if I sell it. But the problem is, now if I'm gonna rent this property, if I'm gonna hold it for 5, 7, 10 years, and it's already got a 15-year-old HVAC system, and I'm in a North Texas climate, it's hot out here, guys. It's hot. It's like 100 degrees outside. And I don't replace the HVAC, then one of two things happens. Either I replace it now, or I replace it later. But I need to have that in my CapEx like expense figure. I need to think that I'm gonna have to replace this HVAC eventually. We might have to replace this system later on, and our cost for a kind of 3-2 house is somewhere in the $5,000 range for a system like that. Well, if you're cash flowing $350, $400 a month, $5,000, if you're not expecting it, that eats up your entire year's worth of cash flow. So if you don't fix things on the front end, think about what's the life expectancy of that product. You can keep them going, but your maintenance cost and your cost of holding the property then increases. So it's just a cost-benefit analysis that you guys all need to make when you're buying rental properties. The second place where people try to cut corners on the rent is by not doing a scope of renovation that's going to help them with the refinance. And that's really important, because when you're renovating a property and refinancing a property, you're basing your refinance price on your new ARV, your after repaired value. And what does that mean? The refinance is based on the condition of the property. So what do we do when we renovate a property? We'll put granite in the kitchens. Now we won't necessarily put the highest end slab in there, but we'll put a Dallas white, we'll put a Santa Cecilia. Maybe we'll put quartz in if we're in the right neighborhood. And that'll justify the value, because we want to increase the value of the property also, so that we can increase the refinance rate, so that we can pull more of our capital back out of the property. Repair it right so you can refinance it correctly, so that you can set a decent market rate. If we do this stuff on the front end, it makes it so A, we're not a slumlord. B, we attract a higher caliber of tenant when we're putting our houses on the marketplace. There's a spectrum of rent also. Rent will range from $1,500 to $1,600 to $1,700, sometimes $1,500 to $1,800, depending on the market, even if there's a similar 3-2 house in the neighborhood. Refinance, this is the fun part. This is where you get your money back out again. So the refinance is gonna be based on somewhere between 65 to usually 80% of the ARV. What does this mean? Well, a lot of people that don't understand the market think that, well, I'm going to refinance, I'm going to pull all my money back out of the property, and now I have no money in the property. That's not necessarily the case. If you don't buy right, then you can't get up to even 80% necessarily of the ARV on the property. You're going to have equity. You're going to keep cash in the property. Nothing wrong with that if that fits your business model. We try to buy as right as we can, but sometimes we keep money in the property also. But you can refinance with conventional lenders for a non-owner occupied investment loan. Conventional lenders are fantastic. FHA, you can't do that because that has to be owner occupied, I think. Small banks, non-QM, so that's going to be Wall Street, hedge fund lenders. There's a ton of them out there in this market. So generally, you're going to be able to pull out somewhere between 65 and 80% of the ARV on the property. Now there's strategies on how to do this and get more of your money out. A rate and term refinance is better actually than a cash out refinance. It helps your rate. There's going to be other requirements. So there's going to be debt service coverage ratios. There's going to be basing it on market rent or in-hand leases. So things like this that actually mitigate and manage the lender's risk also, where it's not necessarily a risky thing. Let's start cash flowing, guys. Let's rent. Some things to watch out for when we're renting that we've bumped into on our properties, you guys will probably bump into if you're getting into the space. Vetting. It's really important to vet your tenants. Do you want tenants that have 3 or 4 evictions? Probably not. They're probably not the best kind of tenant. And then secondarily, you want to periodically inspect your properties. 3 months, maybe a little bit too frequently, I'm not sure. 6 months, absolutely. 1 year, dude, you need to do it more often than that, because there's going to be deferred maintenance, there's going to be wear and tear, there's going to be things that happen to the property that you're going to want to know about. Things in, again, our North Texas climate, replacing the HVAC filter. If that doesn't happen, and that's the tenant's responsibility, but if the tenant doesn't do that, it messes up your property, your HVAC, and now you're responsible for fixing the HVAC, because at least in our market, we have to provide HVAC systems to people. It's hot out there, guys, it's hot. So just check up on your asset. You got a lot of money invested. Now, the most important part, in my opinion, repeat. The best way to build the portfolio is to become professional and treat it like a business. And the way you do that is by repeating the process, putting processes in place over and over and over again.